Once upon a time, in a quiet little village wrapped in golden fields and whispering winds, there lived an old lady. Her hair was silver like moonlight, her face gentle with soft wrinkles carved by years of smiles. But it was her eyes that everyone remembered. They sparkled with kindness, as if they could see right into a troubled heart and still offer hope. Though she lived alone in a tiny cottage beneath a great banyan tree, her husband gone many years and no children to call her own, she never complained. Every morning, the village would see her sitting under the banyan shade, greeting passers-by with a warm nod and a smile that somehow made their day feel lighter. Life in the village, however, was far from easy. The farmers battled with the changing skies. Sometimes the rains never came. Sometimes the river overflowed. The carpenters, the market sellers, the mothers who worked till their hands ached, all carried burdens heavier than they let on. Still, they loved the old lady for one simple reason. In a world that was often harsh and uncertain, she was always happy. One afternoon, as the shadows of the banyan tree stretched long over the dusty lane, a young woman named Radha came rushing to the old lady's house. Her eyes were swollen with tears, her hands trembling as she clutched her faded shawl. "Mother," Radha sobbed, "I don't know what to do. My husband went to the city to find work, but he hasn't sent any money. My children are hungry, and I'm so scared." The old lady looked at her with calm, gentle eyes. She patted the wooden bench beside her and said softly, "Sit down, my child. Tell me, what is it that you fear will happen?" Radha wiped her cheeks. "I feel like everything will go wrong. What if he can't find work? What if he forgets us?" The old lady shook her head with a slow smile. "Ah, my dear, when we fill our hearts with dark thoughts, we only make the night seem longer. But when we choose to see the good, even the smallest spark of hope becomes a lantern." "But how can I think good thoughts when everything feels so bad?" Radha whispered. The old lady smiled again, the kind of smile that makes you believe she's seen storms come and go. She said, "Let me tell you a story. Once," the old lady began, "there was a poor man who believed he had nothing. No money, no food, no family. One day, he sat by the riverbank, his head buried in his hands, crying. An old woman walked by and asked him, 'Why do you weep, my son?' He said, 'I have nothing. How can a man with nothing ever be happy?' The woman pointed to the river, to the trees swaying in the breeze, to the sunlight dancing on the water. She said, 'You have the river, the shade of these trees, the warmth of the sun. You have the breath in your lungs and the strength in your arms. If you only look at what you do not have, you will stay blind to the blessings around you. But if you begin to see the gifts already in your life, your heart will start to heal." The man thought about her words. Slowly, he raised his head. For the first time, he noticed the song of the birds, the coolness of the breeze, the sparkle of the river. He stopped crying. And from that day forward, his life began to change. Not because the world changed, but because he changed the way he saw the world. The old lady's voice grew softer as she looked at Radha. "Do you see, my child? The man's life didn't change by magic. It changed because his heart changed first. When we think good thoughts, our burdens feel lighter, our steps feel stronger, and somehow life starts to open new doors for us." Radha's eyes brimmed with tears again, but this time they weren't from sorrow. She said, "Do you think my thoughts can truly change my life?" she asked, her voice trembling with a new spark of hope. "Yes," said the old lady with a nod. "Wake up every morning and tell yourself, today will be a good day. You'll find the strength to work, to care for your children, and to wait for your husband with hope. But if you only think about what might go wrong, you will feel weak before the day begins." Radha took a deep breath, as if a heavy weight had been lifted. She said, "I will try." From that day on, Radha remembered the old lady's words. Each morning, she rose early, looked at the rising sun, and said to herself, "Today will be a good day." She worked hard, tended to her children, and waited with faith in her heart. Weeks later, as the evening sky turned crimson and gold, a letter arrived. It was from her husband. He had found a job in the city and was sending money back home. Overwhelmed with joy, Radha ran straight to the old lady's house, her eyes sparkling as brightly as the lanterns that lit the village streets. "You were right," she said, her voice breaking with happy tears. The old lady simply smiled, her silver hair glowing in the lamplight. "You see, my dear, when we open our hearts to hope, we invite good things into our lives. Problems will always come, but a hopeful heart makes us strong enough to face them." Word of the old lady's wisdom spread through the village. Farmers came to her when the rains failed. Carpenters came when their work was scarce. Mothers came when their children fell ill. And each time, the old lady shared the same truth. Think good thoughts, and good will find its way to you. The villagers loved her even more, not because she gave them riches, but because she gave them something far more precious, the courage to believe in a brighter tomorrow.